right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Appreciate you all being here. Thank you very much. We got a couple stragglers. Come on in. All right, so I got a lot of notes. I got a few things to talk about this morning. So really appreciate you being here and wanted to talk through. First, we're going to kind of recap what's been going on for the last year here for Colorado State, and then we'll have a preview into this coming year, something that we're all super excited about. So let's start with a recap of the student athlete, and we'll start with the student portion first. 3.253 department GPA for our teams this year, something that we're all super proud of. It's 7 teams with a GPA of 3.5 or higher. So, absolutely outstanding work by our student athletes. We had 200 of them earn Mountain West Academic All-Conference membership, and then 149 of them were Mountain West Scholar athletes as well. So just absolutely outstanding on the academic side of things for us this year. Huge kudos to all of our athletes. All of you know in the room, because you're around here a lot, just how hard they work, from an athletic perspective, and then when you put that course load on top of them, it is a significant achievement for the student athletes. So incredibly proud of them, and very proud of Becky Orr and her team over the academic support services. So thank you to all of them. Do want to talk about what we achieved in competition over the last year as well. It was an outstanding year for us, and if we look forward, there's a lot of reasons for us to be optimistic and excited about where we're heading, what the trajectory of our programs are as well. Our football, our volleyball, and our men's and women's basketball teams won a combined 42-14 at home last year. So really an outstanding record for us at home. All of our fans showing up in Moby, showing up in Canvas, made an absolute difference for our teams this past year. So I'm grateful for all of that. Colorado State was one of 14 schools last year to play in a bowl game, to send a volleyball team to the national tournament, and to send the men's basketball team to a national tournament. We're the only A4 school to do that. So tremendous achievement by everyone involved with making sure that that we've got an opportunity to compete at the highest level, and win when we get there is something that's really important for us going forward. We were one of 25 schools to have an NBA and NFL draft pick this year as well, and I believe that we're the only A4 school that that accomplished that as well. So, the road to the pros absolutely goes through Fort Collins, and it's something that we're proud of here as well. Obviously, best of luck to Torrey Horton with the Seahawks and Nick Clifford with the Kings. As they get ready for their upcoming seasons, we're really excited to watch them compete at the next level. Maya Lesnar, what an outstanding student athlete for us here at Colorado State, won her second national championship with the outdoor shot put, and has already begun her professional career as well. And we're certainly all pulling for her and rooting for her as our Olympic team comes together in 2028. We won 5 Mountain West titles this last year. So great opportunity for us across multiple different sports. Our volleyball program finished 11th in the country in attendance. That is absolutely outstanding, and Ram Country shows up really, really well for our programs, and especially for our volleyball program. Just some other highlights of what we were able to achieve here. Second most football season tickets sold in program history last year. We sold out a record 4 home football games and averaged over 33,000 in attendance, which is also a program record. Most men's basketball season tickets ever sold in program history. Largest student attendance in Moby Arena history. That was for a volleyball game. And then when we look inside of the department, some of the things that we've been working on as well, outside of competition. Patrick McLaughlin and our Ram Club team, they were able to launch the Ram Athletic Fund, which is our annual giving fund for those that support Colorado State. And just a few months ago, we launched the McGraw Society, which is the upper end of our opportunity to engage with athletics and support athletics. And we've already had over 70 people join the McGraw Society, and that's a minimum of a $25,000 commitment. So Ram Country is absolutely supporting what we're working toward, and really, really excited and energized by everything that's going on. The Day of Giving this last year was another record for us. By far led the institution in terms of amount that was raised on that particular day, and set a record for the amount that we raised on that particular day, which is 4x what we did in previous years. Other things, merchandise sales up 25%, royalties up 20%, sponsorship 16% growth. Everything has been trending up for us over this last year. So, I'm grateful for a phenomenal team. I'm thankful for a phenomenal team, and I'm thankful for all the support that we've gotten from our alumni, from our students, from our faculty, from the community, from our sponsors. It's been an absolutely wonderful year. We saw significant growth in social media. Our content team won a Telly Award, so congratulations to them. We opened a new soccer complex. It's hard to believe that was just a year ago, but that was just a year ago that we opened that. And then this last July, we held a first in Canvas Stadium, where we brought PBR and two music acts into Canvas, and just had an absolutely outstanding time. And you want to talk about a Herculean effort to pull that off. It wasn't just having a couple concerts in the stadium. We brought in 60+ bowls and 12 inches of dirt, and a couple days of just absolutely phenomenal atmosphere for everyone here in northern Colorado. It was an absolute wonderful success. We're unbelievably excited about them coming back again next year, and forming a long-term relationship with our new friends there at PBR. And I want to take this moment as well to thank my team. They have absolutely worked their tails off over the last year and this entire summer. And as we head into the fall competition season again, they haven't let up. And it's been great and phenomenal to see the growth within this department, and really, really excited for what the future holds for us. So let's talk through our sports that are going to get underway here soon. So football. Just a quick look back. We put 2 rivalry trophies in the trophy case this past year. That was an important achievement for that team, something that they are certainly proud of. We're coming off of an 8-5 season where we've gone from 3 to 5 to 8 wins, building a lot of momentum in that team. Qualified for a bowl game for the first time since 2017. And won 8 for the 16th time in program history. It was, by all accounts, it was a good year for us in the football program. But what has me particularly excited is where we're headed and what's coming next for us. We've had a great offseason. Our coaches have done a really, really admirable job, great job of putting a recruiting class together, working in the portal, retaining, many of our student athletes, and we've invested in the program in ways that we've never have. And it's showing up. We've got a coaching staff that Coach Norvell has put together for this upcoming season that is stronger than we've had in a long, long time. And really, really excited about how they're able to engage with our student athletes and support them, coach them. We've made, there's changes that we don't write about in the headlines that make a difference on a program and impact a program. The way that we've oriented the practice field out there, it allows us to get more reps in throughout the year. And throughout the offseason. The more coaches that we have allows us to engage our student athletes in a way that we haven't been able to in the past, and making sure that everyone is developing on a learning curve much faster than what we've been able to recently do. We have invested significantly in nutrition. And Coach will get up here, I'm sure, and talk about what a difference that has made in the summer for our student athletes in terms of weight that we've gained as a program, and what that's going to translate to on the field this fall. We've leveraged technology in a way that we've not done in the past. Those are all things that don't make headlines, but they make a difference. And we as an entire program are absolutely committed to making sure that we're doing everything that we can to be as successful as we possibly can on the field. A couple of other highlights. We look at Braden Fowler Nicolosi being able to go down to the Manning Passing Academy this over the summer. That was a great moment for him, and certainly something that I'm sure he'll cherish, but also learn from. He had an opportunity to spend some time with some of the people, best people to have ever played the game and to play that position, but also around a lot of his peers around the country. And Scott Sidwell, our deputy AD, was down there for that, and he belongs. He absolutely belongs, and we're excited to see what he's going to be able to do for us this fall. We're counting down the days until Washington. We're just about there and getting on an aircraft and going up to Seattle and opening up there against University of Washington. And then coming back here on September 6th for our first of 7 home games. So 7 home games again this fall. So back-to-back years with that, and that's that's a huge difference. We saw it last year, the difference that the crowd makes for us, being able to play in the home environment, and we're excited to be able to do that, and that's something that we're going to continue to work on to try to get 7 at home as often as we possibly can. That's important in a lot of different respects. Washington State, a future Pac-12 opponent, comes to town on September 27th, and of note, we play our last Mountain West regular season game against Air Force at the to close out the season here in Canvas. So, really encourage everyone to come out and support this team this year. It's going to be a special season for us. And when we look at what my team's job is when it comes to game day, there's a lot that we're continuing to work on. Those of you that were at the, in and out of the stadium last year, you noticed there were a lot of changes last year, and we're going to continue that trend as we head into this fall as well. We're going to enhance what we're doing outside the stadium. I tell my team we're playing 2 games every time that we play. We play the game outside the stadium, we play the game inside the stadium, and the goal is obviously to win both of those. So we'll have some special things that that we'll announce here in the coming weeks relative to what we're doing outside the stadium, and a lot of what we're going to change on pre-game routine inside the stadium as well. So there's going to be some fun new elements. So if you're listening out there, make sure that you get into the stadium early and take a good look at what game day is going to evolve into. So a lot of excitement around our football program. Volleyball. Defending Mountain West champions, both in the regular season and in the tournament. So, incredibly proud of Coach Cohan and what her and her program have been able to achieve. We finished 11th in the country last year in attendance for volleyball. That's a big deal. And the way that Northern Colorado supports our women's sports programs is admirable, and something that we can all certainly be proud of as well. Coach Cohan's the reigning coach of the year in the conference, and she'll be our head coach for the 50th season of Colorado State volleyball. A really fun opportunity for us to bring a lot of our former players back, recognize them, honor them, and have them be involved with our program. Is going to be a special year for us in volleyball. Soccer, we're headed into the 5th season with Coach Hagan as our head coach. She's done great things over the last 5 years. She's gotten her team into the semifinals of the Mountain West each of the last 2 seasons, and I know she and her team are hungry to advance beyond that. We've got 2 of the best scorers in program history coming back, and Mia Casey and Olivia Fout. Between them, they've got 26 goals, and I'm expecting to put a lot in the back of the net for this fall as well. They open August 14th at home against Utah Tech, and that is just around the corner. So they'll be in competition before our students are even back on campus. From a cross-country perspective, so we've got 3 athletes on both men's and women's teams that are coming back from last year. The women's team, with Anna Peter last year, I think that was the 5th year in a row that we sent an individual to the NCAA championship. So we're really excited about what Coach Hart has been able to do and continue to build on there. And we've had men 2 of the last 3 seasons as well advance. Men were runners-up at the Mountain West Championships last season, and I know Coach Hart is hard at work on making sure that we continue that trend on both our men's and women's side. From men's golf was Coach Jack Kennedy's first year as head coach, and he continued a streak of now making it 4 years in a row that we've had our golf program into the NCAA regionals. Certainly hope to continue that, with a 5th year in a row and advance into nationals as well. They won 3 tournaments last year with 3 individual titles, so a great introductory year for Coach Kennedy. And we've got three to watch up in the pros right now as well. With Connor Jones, Davis Bryant, Martin Laird, all competing at different levels of professional golf as well. We're certainly proud to call them, Rams and alumni of Colorado State. On the women's golf side, Carrie Kaneshiro, she made a regional appearance last year as an individual. After earning Mountain West Freshman of the Year 2 years ago, really looking forward to what she's able to do to continue what's been a great career for her so far here at CSU. The team returns, with care. There's Jacinda Lee that comes back as well as, the two returners that played in every match last year. So, we're looking at, forward to having some seniority on that team as well to help the new members of the team. They won the Rainbow Wahine Invitational last season, and it's something they can look back on and continue to build on the success that they've had going forward. So that's kind of a quick recap of our fall sports as we head into the seasons here. But I do want to talk a little bit about our future, and then I'm going to close here with a little bit about our past as well. So, this is our last year in the Mountain West. It's our last opportunity to win championships in each of our sports, and it's something that that all of us, whether it's admin or coaches or players or fans or alumni, we all take it very, very seriously. We're grateful for the time that we spent in the Mountain West. It's been a great conference for us. We've been associated with some outstanding universities, but the time has also come for us to move to the Pac-12. And that will be official. This time next year, July 1st of 2026. Will be the first day that we're headed into the Pac-12, and we've got to go into the Pac-12 with a full head of steam, and that means that we've got to take advantage of every opportunity that we've got in the Mountain West this year. The future is certainly quite bright for the Pac-12, for Colorado State, and for other member institutions in that conference. We're also entering a critical time period for Colorado State athletics. When you look over the next few years, the pace of change has accelerated, and it's not going to slow down. And when I look at change, every time there's change, there's also opportunity. And the thing that our team talks about is running into the fire. Every single time that there's change, find that opportunity, run into that fire, and figure out what we can take advantage of for Colorado State. On the surface, the narrative around realignment is it's often about conference affiliation and matchups and what happens to the rivalries, that kind of stuff. But what often goes unsaid is, what's the impact on the rest of the institution? When you look at the academic and research pursuits for the institution, and I take that incredibly serious for Colorado State. We're every institution out there is competing for students, for brand recognition, for research awards, for academic prowess, all of that. And we're doing the same for it here at CSU. And athletics is, we're doing everything that we can to support, our university, and to help make our university great. When you look at, how we rank academically, how we rank from a R1 research institution perspective, the size of our alumni, the size of our student body, it is a powerful institution. And we're doing everything we can on our side to uphold that and to help our programs grow, help our university grow. And that brings me to a we over me. Some of you have heard Coach Norvell talk about we over me, and if you haven't yet, I'm sure he's going to talk about it here in a few minutes when he gets up here. But it's a concise way for us to really all talk together about what are we trying to achieve, here at Colorado State. We all have to prepare our teams to be competitive. We have to support our teams academically, mentally, physically. We have to find our competitive advantage, and that can be done through coaching, through recruiting, through technology, support services, culture, schemes, so on and so forth. And we're all focused on doing that. We have to put on the best game day atmosphere when we compete. We have to create that competitive advantage inside of our venues every time that one of our teams, comes in there and competes, and that's a lot to do. But we also includes everybody. So when we talk about we over me, it is everybody. It's our students, it's our faculty, it's our campus, it's our alumni, our donors, our partners, our community, our fans. That's what defines we. And we can and will be great here at Colorado State. And I'm unbelievably excited about the team that I've got across the board, whether it's directly on my team or our head coaches or our student athletes in each of our programs. We are going to be great. And the future, I don't know that it's ever looked brighter for CSU in terms of the trajectory that we're on. Those of you that are going to listen in on this later, I invite you to come to campus. Come to Moby. Come to all of our venues this fall and this winter and this next spring. Support these student athletes. Bring a friend. Pack our venues every single time that we play. Create a wonderful home advantage for our student athletes when they compete in the name of Colorado State. So, let's make sure that we are all there, this fall, this winter, and this spring to support these student athletes. And lastly, I want to finish with a note on honoring the past a little bit and a couple of announcements here. First, it was about probably an hour and a half ago or so, we announced our 2025 class of the Walk of Champions. Those that earned that designation over the course of this last year. So congratulations to all of those student athletes. Unbelievably appreciated for everything that you did for Colorado State, and it's a pleasure to honor all of you. It's also the time of year that we announce our 2025 Hall of Fame class. So we have 3 honorees, that we are going to honor this fall. The first of which, for women's basketball, is 3-time All-Mountain West selection Ellen Nystrom. Our second honoree will be for volleyball. She's a 3-time AVCA All-American and the 2015 Mountain West Player of the Year, and 3-time All-Mountain West team member Adriana Colbert. And for men's track and field is 2-time national champion, 6-time All-American, and 7-time Mountain West Conference champion Mustafa Hassan. So congratulations to those 3 people. It's an absolute pleasure to honor them. We're going to have a recognition ceremony on September 5th, which is the Friday night before our home football game against Northern Colorado. So we'll have a really nice reception for them. Really looking forward to having them back on campus and celebrating them that night, and we'll bring them out on the field on September 6th as well. And then I've got another announcement this morning. So, I did this a little bit last year in terms of teasing some additional announcements, and it's one of the things that that's really important to our team, is to honor those that have made an unbelievable difference for our programs. So I'm pleased to announce a new Ring of Honor program, and that is for those that have just made an impact on this place, unlike few others. And we have 7 honorees that we are going to induct into our inaugural Ring of Honor class. So the way that we're going to do this is that those people's names will forever be on the inside of the venues that we compete in. So the 4 names for football, and we're going to honor them on our September 6th game: Al Bubba Baker, Joey Porter, Bradley Van Pelt, and Coach Sonny Lubick. So it's a really special moment for us to be able to really honor the people that made a huge difference for our programs, and I'm excited to be a teeny tiny part of that. We've got 3 other people that we're going to bring into the Ring of Honor as well. 1 for volleyball, 1 for swim and dive, and 1 for men's basketball. And this will be our inaugural class. So for volleyball, Angela Knopf. So she competed here, at an extremely high level for Colorado State. Amy Van Dyken of Olympic fame for our swim and dive program, and then Jason Smith for a men's basketball program that had just a tremendous career here at Colorado State and a phenomenal career in the NBA as well. So this is a historic moment for CSU. It's a fulfilling moment for these people, I assure you. When I had the conversations with them to let them know that they were being honored this way, it was emotional. It was. So it was very special. So again, thank you all for being here today, and appreciate it.
So you came on a year ago and you said you were tremendously optimistic about what Colorado State athletics could be. Mm-hmm. What happened this last year that kind of fortified that position that you have, and what do you have planned in the future that will enhance that?
So it's the way that everyone showed up over the last year, right? So we built a lot of excitement this time last year. We built a lot of excitement going into the fall, going into the winter, going into the spring, and everyone believed and everyone showed up. And that's what I want to see continue to happen. When we show up, it makes a difference for our teams. If I look at the way that we've recruited, the way that we've retained, we've done a great job there. Top recruiting classes in a lot of our sports. that there's a natural reason to be optimistic, but I think another reason for us to be optimistic is the way that we're coming together as a department, and doing all the things off the field, off the court, out of the pool, off the track, to really support our student athletes and give them an opportunity to compete at the absolute highest level. And we're incredibly serious about it. And the opportunity that we have here for CSU, by every measure, we're a powerful institution, and the opportunity for growth for us and to make noise on the national stage is very, very real, and something that we're all excited to be able to do.
Put a lot of your focus into not the game day experience, not just what was happening on the field, but for the fans. Do you have further plans? What's in store for the fan base?
We do have further plans. If you're talking about football, we've also been hard at work on what our volleyball intros and what our basketball intros are going to be like as well. So there will be some changes that we'll announce here shortly relative to what pregame looks like. Out during in the tailgating area, we've got some elements that we're going to introduce out there that I think is going to be a good reason for people to come early, and be engaged with the programming out there. And as we lead into football season here, we're going to simplify a little bit of what we did last year, but I think we're going to do all those elements even better and with more energy, and really excited about ways to get our the energy up in the crowd and then get them loud and proud as the ball kicks off.
You mentioned the season tickets last year at High Point football specifically. Where are you at right now this year? That number wise, how's it looking?
Yeah, we're so on football tickets, I think we're over 90% renewal rate on our season tickets, which is absolutely that's an outstanding number given how much we grew last year. We grew like 30-40% season ticket sales year over year last year, and then to be able to renew 90% plus of those going into this year, we're in a great spot.
How important is that the
McGraw Society,
things like that, and we're in a rev share era now.
Yeah, we have to find every opportunity that we can to generate revenue in ways that we've not done before, and we're fortunate that we've got phenomenal facilities, and we got phenomenal opportunities to generate revenue in ways that we haven't. It's always been a business. Collegiate athletics has always been a business, but I assure you the business focus on collegiate athletics has never been as high as it is now. And that's something that we talk about daily relative to all the different ways that we can generate additional revenue for this department and make sure that we're sustaining ourselves as much as we possibly can within our own department.
Where do you guys kind of aim to be right now as you kind of start rev share, and how I guess you are?
Yeah, the long-term goals for us is to maximize the rev share cap, and it's going to take sponsorships, it's going to take naming rights, it's going to take ticket sales, it's going to take engagement with our donors to figure out ways to make that happen. And our goal that we openly talk about is how do we become the first non-A4 school to get to that rev share cap, and it's going to take us a while to get there, but the opportunity I think is real, the support is real, and I'm excited to see us grow along those lines.
Obviously, this summer the future of the Pac-12 was a lot dependent on the media rights deal. How do you feel like the progress is made in that regard, and what do you like about what you guys were able to get done going into?
Yeah, and the media deal is still being negotiated, right? So I can't comment a whole lot on that, but there will be multiple elements to that. The piece that has been announced with our football and men's basketball championships being on over the air CBS, that's an important thing for us to have that kind of distribution. And we're working through the rest of it relative to who those partners are and what those distribution channels are. But it's something that will absolutely help our brand, help the distribution, get more eyeballs on Colorado State, and that's at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to achieve.
I'm sure the to-do list between now and that July 1 start of the Pac-12 is pretty long.
It's huge,
Give
yes,
us some kind
yes.
of like tentpole things that really drive what you want to get done.
Yeah, well, it's and we got to think about this. It's a new conference. It's a new Pac-12, and we have to start from scratch in many ways. Within that conference on how it's operated. What do conference championships look like? Where are they? Where are we competing? What does the membership look like? There's a tremendous amount of work that we got to do between now and June 30th of next year. And, we're all headed into the competitive season as well. So that, there will be a lot of midnight oil that's being burned over the next year by everyone, at the conference office and all of its member institutions to put this together. But it's a lot of work.
You guys, when the move happened, like you say, kind of one of the talking points is rivalries and whatnot. I mean, you guys signed the extension with Wyoming for down the road. There was that gap. Is there any update there or hope? Or is there still hope
There's no update there. We will continue to work to see if there's something that we can do to keep the contiguous games going, and to do it across other sports as well. You look in the rev share era. Part of it is raising money, part of it is saving money too. So if we can have a quality game, and when it's our turn to play away, if we have to get on a bus versus getting on an aircraft somewhere and spending the money associated with doing that, I'll do that every single time. So that rivalry in particular is important. It's incredibly important. One of the oldest west of the Mississippi, with arguably the best tradition and rivalry trophy and story in college football. It was important to us to keep that alive, that's I think it's great for both of our institutions to be able to do that.
With a lot of focus on the Pac-12 new era of college sports, are things like the Ring of Honor kind of trying to place an emphasis on remembering like the history of the university?
Those are two separate things. The Ring of Honor, when we started talking about Walk of Champions last year and then Ring of Honor this year, I'll tell you a story. I was struck by a young woman that was coming through here that was a recruit for our women's basketball program. And I was thinking about her experience as she walked around here and took a look at what was going on at Colorado State, making a decision of whether she wanted to come here or wanted to go to another institution. And I stood down there on the floor of Moby, and I looked up, and there wasn't a lot of names up there. When she looked up there, and I don't know that this was her thought process at all or not, but it was mine. And when she looks up, one conclusion that she could have drawn was that there hasn't been very many people of significance that have played in Moby, and that couldn't be any further from the truth. And when I look at at an opportunity like Walk of Champions, like Ring of Honor, like the number that we retired for Lieutenant Colonel John Mosley last year, honoring those that have made a huge difference for our programs it's important. And we need to recognize that. We need to embrace that. We need to welcome those people back. They did great things for us, and we're incredibly grateful for them. And we're excited about the opportunity to celebrate them. And we'll see more and more of that over the coming years, and celebrating our past, honoring our past, because there have been some phenomenal people that have come through this institution, and we need to make sure that we're all proud of them.
What's the driving factor in bringing in transfers and recruits, even in this new NIL era and new college landscape?
The driving factor is we're all trying to compete at the highest level, right? So there have been occasions that student athletes have left Colorado State to compete at other institutions, and when that happens, we obviously have to backfill that. But the goal here is for us to recruit the best and retain the best. And one of the things that I set for our vision a while ago is to be the most loved, most watched, most innovative program in the West. And part of that definition of the most loved piece is this a place that that our coaches and our athletes treat as a destination? Is this a place that they come to and stay and compete? And that is absolutely a focus that that we've got. When we get the Isaiah Stevens of the world, we want to keep them here, and we're going to work incredibly hard in making sure that we do that.
Obviously, you've got multiple power conference opponents on the schedule in the next couple of years coming up. Obviously, there's an extra non-conference team opened up with the move to the Pac-12, but what's the balance of trying to make sure you get some of those games at home, but also being willing to take chances and put yourself on the stages that you want to be on against some of the better players?
There's the old saying of anyone, anytime, anywhere. That's I can't say that we're going to think any differently than that, right? When we have the opportunities to play on the national stage, to play an A4 opponent, we have to take advantage of that opportunity. And, you know, we've got to, you know, we go into those games and we've got to be able to make some noise and win more than we lose. And that's, you know, that's important to, you know, to the trajectory of the program and to what we're trying to establish here at CSU. We're on a great path. We really are. And if you look around this place, like I said, the academics, the research, the size of the alumni base, nearly 34,000 students on campus, the facilities that are here, the city in which we live, Northern Colorado, it's a phenomenal place. It's all here.
John,
And we've got a huge opportunity in front of us, sorry.
Sorry, no, just follow with those A4 games. Do you see more of those because you're gonna have more non-con slots even with the Wyoming contract that you gotta fill? And those are obviously have pretty good payouts, I would imagine. You see more of those A4 openers on the road?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. You know, when I look at it, you know, there's two schools of thought. One, you can take the paycheck. Two, you can work really hard to get 7 home games, and that's, you know, I would say we've been focused more on that, and you know, making sure that we've got an opportunity to compete for that CFP slot, and that's what we're focused on. I'm going to make no bones about that. That is, you know, that is a very, very real opportunity for Colorado State, and scheduling is becoming much more of an art as we go forward, and, you know, determining, you know, what that non-conference opponent looks like is an important part and an important path to the success of getting to a college football playoff bid. And there's a lot of art involved with that now, and who you're playing and when you're playing them and where you're playing them is an important component of that.
You mentioned the progress Jay has made throughout the first 3 seasons, and also the need to go into the Pac-12 with a full head of steam, which is what you said. How do you balance the expectations going into this season relative to what you feel like this team can accomplish, as opposed to where you feel like you guys want to be with the momentum side?
Yeah, you know, so the key to all of this year over year is to build momentum and continue that momentum, and, you know, that's what we are all focused on. And you know, when you put all the effort that we have done, you know, over the course of this offseason behind where we're headed, you know, I think it's going to pay off in great ways for us. It's about building momentum. It's about seizing the opportunity that's in front of us, and you know, making sure that we give our teams every opportunity to compete and win.
There's been a high emphasis placed on the champions that have walked through CSU. With the House settlement being introduced, do you see that shifting CSU's ability to retain these athletes in the future?
I don't. You know, it's and we've got to have that attitude. You know, that this is, you know, I mentioned a moment ago that we want this to be the most loved place, and a portion of that is you know, is this a place that student athletes think that they can come to, stay, compete, thrive, and get to the next level. And we are focused on building those opportunities for our student athletes, you know, across a whole bunch of different capacities to make sure that that they've got that opportunity. We're very serious about that, and this is a great place to be. It really is. So no, I think that we can be highly competitive from that perspective.
2 more questions.
Were you able, with that Ring of Honor, I wasn't sure how it went down, were you able to share that with, you know, those athletes that have been honored? And
I have.
And what were those conversations like for you?
Yeah, I have. I've spoken to each of the 7. That was a special conversation. Each of them are unbelievably excited, honored, humbled, emotional about that recognition. So really excited to see them back in Canvas, in Moby, you know, in our venues, and have our fans another opportunity to thank them.
And with this Ring of Honor, why is it important for this university to introduce besides just recognizing these past athletes?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Just why is it important for this university to introduce the Ring of Honor besides just honoring the athletes?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to, you know, for folks that have helped shape Colorado State. You know, when you look at an athletics department, you know, the athletics exists to help market the university. That's, you know, at its core, that's what athletics does. And those that have done it at the highest level in the most successful ways, we want to take the opportunity to honor them, to thank them, and recognize what they meant to this university and our programs.